Hey guys, it's Craig, your garden guy from Yard to Table Creations, and we're going to touch on something that is, it's not a myth, but it's something that's often overlooked. We're always told that especially for summer gardens, that we need as much sun as possible. You need full sun as much as you can get. That's how the plants are going to do best. That's how they're going to be the most productive. And to some extent, that is definitely true. I mean, the more sun they get, the more they photosynthesize, the more energy they create, the more food they can produce. Also, there's such thing as too much. Here in Southern California, we have pretty intense sun in the summer times. And over the last 10 to 20 years, there's definitely been a consistent uptick in the UV index. And in talking to arborist friends of mine who spend a lot of time up in the top canopies of trees, they're seeing a lot of leaves that are falling early, shriveling up, and that's being attributed to just a lot of really intense UV rays that are hitting the top canopy of the trees, and it's stunting some tree growth. In this case, we're going to talk a little bit about shade cloth, and we have actually a pretty good example here of the difference between plants that are getting the right amount of sun and plants that are getting a little bit too much sun. If you look at these plants here, we notice the shade cloth stops here, and we've got some plants out here that were all started at the same time. But you can see just how beat up this plant looks. It's yellowing, it's definitely got some bug damage. You can see these tacoed leaves, and even though this is getting all the same water as everything else, it's just not getting enough water to really help it thrive. It's just getting beaten up by the sun. And we have to remember that when you have a stress in a plant, it leads to a domino effect. So if we start out with this plant, which is getting too much sun, it's getting blasted, it stresses, it starts to drop leaves. Well, when it starts to drop leaves, now it can't photosynthesize as much. When plants are stressed, the bugs know it, and the bugs will come in and start attacking the stressed plants. That's their job really at the end of the day, is to have these bugs get rid of the less healthy plants so that the healthy ones can survive. But if you look under here, you notice the fruit, instead of being a little bit burnt, you can see it's a little shriveled here. The skin's getting a little tough. This is all just overexposure from the sun. Versus over here, you see these are nice and smooth. They're nice, vibrant colors. And if you notice, the foliage is a nice, healthy, dark green. You don't have a lot of leaves dropping. You don't have shriveling. You really don't have much in the way of tacoing. And that's all because of this shade cloth. The shade cloth is allowing plenty of sun through. You're still getting full exposure to the sun for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. But you're also minimizing the amount of UV, and you're taking just the edge off the power of the sun, so these plants can still do their thing, but not end up getting burned up like this one. So if you're gardening in Southern California or in any other warm environment, get yourself a roll of shade cloth and use it. Worst case scenario is you put some shade cloth on and you realize, oh, I actually don't need this and the plants are growing better in the fine. Great, because that's how we learn in the garden. But for my garden and for the gardens that I manage, we use a lot of shade cloth, and we use it pretty liberally because the sun from now through the end of September is going to be real hot. So get yourself a roll and use it.